This is a continuation on the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. I want to call it ameingiliwa na uoga. Ameingiliwa na uoga. That is what I want to call it. Up to now, I still insist that Rigathi Gachagua will not be impeached. I still believe he's not going to be impeached. Although signs are showing that most likely is going to be impeached, and if he's going to be impeached, it will sail through. But today is Sunday. I believe that in the next the thing is supposed to be taken to Parliament on Tuesday. So 2 days from today, 48 hours. But I still believe that he will not be impeached. He just wants to be aingizwe uoga. That is the Swahili word, aingizwe uoga. But you see, the way I've seen them, they handled him thinking that he was powerful. And then they used a lot of force. Now, using a lot of force, you know, when you're in a boxing match or a wrestling match, or even a judo or karate match, you go there with a plan. Your plan has only 3 answers. You may plan while you undermine your competitor, or you may plan when you overvalue your competitor, or you can plan correctly and win the fight. So I believe that they have been taking him to be more serious than what he has, only knowing that he was a pepper tiger. So they used a lot of power. And him using a lot of power, the way I suspect is they will reach a compromise where he will be told to toe in line in such and such a way. And since he's miserable, he will toe in line. But you see, it will be at a great expense to him, to that position, and even to the country. To that position, because if he's brought down to the below ground level, below zero level, it means that future deputy presidents will enter that office with a lot of fear, knowing that they are at the president's mercy. That is the problem. That is the problem. It should not have even reached such a stage, because the way I've seen, and that is the purpose of this recording, is that ameingiwa na uoga, na sasa he's begging for redemption. And you know, when he's begging for redemption, he will be forgiven, he will be reintegrated, and such forgiveness and reintegration may affect, you know, if it affects him as an individual, that's okay. After all, he has been behaving in a certain way that has been unfair. Mambo ya shares, mambo ya mlima, mambo ya mimi narudi kwetu, mambo ya hiyo. He has been unfair, but we may end up in such a way that when he's demolished properly, it will affect future occupants of that seat. Because that seat also has got to have its fellowship. It has to have its respect. It has to have its excellency. Now, when we reach a stage where he ends up being finished, it is possible that that finishing may extend to the office and the residence, and that is my biggest fear. I've said, I've related myself to the two. I've said that if you move from Gashagua's home to a few villages, you'll find a place called Kwangurue. Kayaba. Kayaba has 2 or 3 stages. One of the stages is called Kwangurue. That's where my mother came from. And Ruto originally is from a place called Osorongai. Osorongai is just a river like Kuja River, which in Kisi is called Wucha, but when it goes to Luo, it's called Kuja. So Osorongai, kwa kina Ruto, the river is called Osorongai, but when it reaches my place, it's called Silungai. My land is touching on River Silungai. So I'm neutral to both. What I would say is that if you look at, you know, first of all, he was not supposed to be the running mate. The person who made him be the running mate is Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. If it were not for them, then uh, he would not have even been thought of being the running mate. Why am I saying so? It is just like people say that Mwai Kibaki was made the president by Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. You know, if Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi would have selected a presidential candidate for KANU from another tribe, not being a Kikuyu, uh, it would have been a bitter challenge. So he knew that the next president would be a Kikuyu. So he chose Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. But then, in the then opposition, they felt that their failure to choose a Kikuyu candidate would make Uhuru take all the mountain votes. So they chose Mwai Kibaki mostly because they wanted to snatch the Kikuyu votes from Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. That was the purpose of them wanting, wanting Kibaki to be the candidate. And when Uhuru Kenyatta influenced Raila to choose Martha Karua as his running mate, then it was felt that Ruto had no option but to choose somebody from the mountain. And he chose a person from the mountain for various reasons. You know, we have some tribes which are assimilated by other tribes. For example, my Tachoni people, they were assimilated into Luhya. Otherwise, we are Kalenjins. Just like Subas were assimilated into Luo, yet Subas are Bantus. Just like Gishugu, the Kirinyaga people, they are a mixture of Meru and Embu, but mostly they are Embus. That is why they have a capacity which we Tachonis have and which Subas have. You see, we Tachonis, we can reach a stage when we are with the Luyas and start talking Kisabaot, Sabaot of the Kalenjin language. The same applies to Suba. Suba can reach a place and start talking in Kisuba, and those Luos who are there will not understand, and then they will revert back to Luo and for everybody. The same as Kirinyaga people. Kirinyaga people can talk in their language, but then when they reach a place, they can revert to Kikuyu. For example, a few examples, or even one example. In Kikuyu, when you say, I came here early, you say, Njokire tene, Njokire tene. But in Kikirinyaga, you say, Njokire kafere, Njokire kafere. So you find that a Kirinyaga person can talk their language and then they can still talk Kikuyu. So what happened was one of the reasons why a pure, can I use the word pure? A pure Kikuyu was taken was so that to influence the mountain. And also, you find that when you go to that type of politics, people start saying that after all, the Kirinyaga are not Kikuyus. But in the absence, of a Kikuyu candidate, the Kirinyaga would be accepted as one of their own. And that is one of the reasons why I'm saying, with the loss of Rigathi, obviously, Ruto will lose a lot of votes from the mountains. But uh, that is that is why I'm still insisting that he will be maintained in the 2027. Or if he goes, it should be done in such a way that he goes around and convinces the people that he himself, you remember the case of Eldoret, the deputy governor stepped aside, isn't it? He said he just wants to go to wherever he was before. And very many people in Eldoret think that his was not just an ordinary resignation. So if the best way I could advise Ruto is that do it like the Eldoret way. Let the deputy president go, but let him go the way the Eldoret deputy governor went. Everybody knows that he was kicked out, but he himself insists that he wants to go back to his former field before he joined politics. That is why I keep on insisting that he will not be impeached. But then what will happen? What will happen is that, have you noticed that, I mean, I don't know how to put it, but have you noticed that there is a change in attacking Rigathi from the mountain? Initially, the intention was to replace Rigathi with Didi Nyoro from Murang'a. Now they have changed. It is that they want to replace him with Kidiki. Now, I'm trying to read between the lines. Why are they trying to replace him with that? And you'll find that Didi Nyoro has gone down. He's not attacking or is not doing anything against Regigi. Not that it is not that he has turned into a pro-Regigi, but then maybe those who are anti-Regigi are playing an alternative way. We don't know. So this thing about playing, and you see, Regigi is more of a businessman than a politician. He did himself disservice when he started going around with the issues of shares. And alichezewa, for those who don't understand Swahili, sorry. Alichezewa kabisa, because look at even the cabinet selection. The first list came of 10 and he selected seven Kikuyus. And he went around not even knowing about the other. So outside the Kikuyu land, they are seeing him as the biggest tribalistic fellow ever. So I would not be surprised to see that people outside the mountain, that is a fly past, you know, they are respecting the inspector general. Now, outside the central province, people will, members of parliament will vote against him because of what he was talking of shares. They hated him that. And even in central, if you go to Nyeri, imagine when he was when he was appointed to be running mate, he gave up the Madeira constituency seat. And the current MP for Madeira constituency was not even in the lineup to take over from him. But himself, he wanted the MCA for his own ward to take over. But people complained that his ward is the one that had just represented the constituency. Let another MCA take over. But what did he do after he took over? What Rigiji is not telling people is that, and I'm talking as somebody from Madeira, what he did was immediately he was sworn in as the deputy president. He did away with the people. You see, there are those people who were anti-UDA, like Ngujiri and others. There are several. So when he was sworn in as a deputy president, He went and took the people who were leading in Nyeri, those who were on the other side, and then made them his closest confidants. So you'll find that even in Nyeri itself, people hate him. People hate him because those people whom he was with in trenches, even the MCS, all the MCS in Madeira, he has kept himself away from them, and he has taken those people who were pro Uhuru. Now let us see the Uhuru effect. Between me and you, we do not know which is which, but we know that Uhuru's government used to harass him. You can remember so many cases where he's seen in handcuffs. They used to harass him and so on and so on. But then he's forgetting that they used to harass him. All that is remembering now is that he was sent to attack the Uhuru family. Now, okay, let us, as an intelligence officer, let me tell you how we do good intelligence. You come with your story, we handle it with your story. Yeah, we handle it with your story. Now, let us take his story. He has forgotten that every now and then he used to be in court for various cases during Uhuru's time. Only that the only thing he remembers is that Ruto used to send him to go and attack uh, Uhuru and so on. Let us take it as from what he's saying. Ruto sent him to attack Uhuru and his family. He's accepting that, and he's stating that now if we have to take it that way, for a person who was a district officer, for a person who has undergone a paramilitary course, for a person who has been trained, you see some people, including Ruto, have come to handle Official Secrets Act when they are politicians. But this is a DO who used to head a sub-county district security committee. And he's somebody who has been sent to go and attack the Kenyatta family. And he went and attacked the Kenyatta family. Who is to blame? And you see the type of attacks he used to attack Uhuru. We Uhuru, mimi ndio nilitumwa niende nikutoe huko kwa ulevi. If a person of his level was sent and he went and attacked the Kenyatta family, then he's only to blame for himself. Another thing is, let us look at the way he has been acting. VIPs have been coming, he's not there. Recently, the president went to Germany, he was not there at the airport to send him. His utterances that public utterances, a lot of vice presidents have had problems. Okay, Ruto we know. But I think the vice president that suffered most was Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, because the police would stop his vehicle, Mercedes number KNT 400, would stop that vehicle, do the search as if they have had information that contraband things are. And you see, he was the minister in charge of police. They were doing that. There's even cases where he was slapped by other people. There are so many things that they talk about how he suffered as a vice. But the biggest mistake that Rigiji has done was to come public. Oh, mimi kuna wale watu sijui ni personal assistant wa president ama marafiki wa president wanataka niwe loyal to them. It is true it happened. It is true it even happened to Ruto. It happened to everybody who has been number two. But he is the first one who has done that. Lastly, I want to talk about business. This is somebody who is very good in business deals. I want to tell you that anybody who has worked as a personal secretary to the Kenyatta family does not come out poor. Once upon a time, J.M. Kariuki was the personal assistant to private secretary to Jomo Kenyatta. He died a very rich person. Rigathi Gachagua was talent spotted to go because he's slightly younger than Uhuru. he was talent spotted to go and try to mold Uhuru into a politician. Actually, his biggest beef with Uhuru was, if I would not have taken you out of alcoholism and whatever, you would not have been the president and you would not have been punishing me the way you are punishing me. So working for the Kenyatta family as a private secretary, you come out rich. Now, how rich do you come? I don't know. But when all the people who have been, 95% of those who have been working privately for the Kenyatta family do come out as rich, then there is a formula there that is as hidden as the Coca-Cola formula. Yeah. So from there, he also increased his richness during the time when his brother was the governor. I was an election trainer for the ECK. You see, Chesoni is my nephew, was my nephew. So I was the trainer for election in 1997. I'm aware that during that time, his relationship with his brother, Derito Agashagwa, were not good. Actually, when they used to visit home, they used to alternate. This one comes this weekend, this one comes the other weekend. Because Derito Agashagwa was very close to Mwai Kibaki, and Rigathi Gachagua was close to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So they were not even on talking terms. But later on, they came and agreed. And when Derito was the governor for Nyeri, they were saying that the governor, the real governor was Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua was the real governor because you remember the time when John F. Kennedy was the president, they were saying that his brother Robert Kennedy was the real president. So he was using that. But what Rigathi is said to have done is that he had several companies. He had several companies which he used to, if you want to do any business, he would necessitate for your company to do that under a name of one of his companies. But then his brother died, and then there was also a push by the family. When the brother died, you see, automatically the deputy governor was to be the governor. But they pushed for the deputy governor to go and say that he does not want the seat, so that as a way an arrangement was made for him to take over. But they were advised legally that that is a constitutional lacuna, and they may make the deputy governor step down, but later on they end up in a by-election because that thing is not there in law. So he made money, being the Uhuru's peer. He made money during. He made money when he was Uhuru's peer. He made money as the shadow governor for Nyeri. And also, let me tell you one thing. Okay, uh, this time he didn't make money, and one of the reasons why Ruto chose him over Kindiki. Kindiki ni mali ngumu. Kindiki, Kenya hii tuko na watu mali ngumu, tuko na watu mali ngumu like Musalia Mudavadi mali ngumu. We have people mali ngumu. Raila is mali ngumu. The late Kibaki is mali ngumu. Kindiki is mali ngumu. So one of the reasons why Rigathi Gachagua was taken is that he could bankroll the campaign. He could also counter the running mate being the vice. And also, he was to be permanently indebted to the appointing authority. He could always be told, don't you see that if it were not for me, people had already taken Kindiki. But then, alimea pembe. If you look at Rigathi Gachagua, those who grew up together with Rigathi, as an intelligence officer, I can tell you when I characterize people. Kuna watu wengine when they were teenagers, lazima walikuwaga wachokozi sana, wagondi. People like Jeff Koinange and so on. So Rigathi is one of them, and maybe that is why he was appointed to go and rehabilitate Uhuru. So every time he's opening his, even right now, when he saw things were not working for him, he started going around in Central. And he knows that this thing about calling himself the king of the mountain, he most of the MPs from other areas outside the mountain will will probably vote because of what he was saying, that he's the king of the mountain and mambo ya shares and so on. So that is how he has finished himself. But then let us look at the way he has been handling himself, because I'm saying ameingiwa baridi. This is how ameingiwa na baridi. You see, he has been going around. They have changed tactics. Initially, his people, those politicians who are pro him, were directly attacking President Ruto, while he was attacking people around the president. Have you noticed that they have changed tactic? Now the people around him are attacking those people who are attacking him, and he himself he has now got to attack the president. He attacks the president by saying lots of things. He has gone to the mountain, telling the people of the mountain that you chose you mwaturete idhue nyende na Ruto tiguo Leo Kotorutano, yani you elected us, me and Ruto joined this, isn't it? Now, if we don't have to work together, then it is upon you to. But then he's becoming, he's using some reasoning of PP2. Why am I saying PP2? I'm saying he's using the reasoning of PP2 because the constitution says he can be he can be impeached by MPs. And then he is also going to an extent of saying if he has to be impeached because the same ballot that voted for him is the one that ballot for Uhuru, for Ruto, then his impeachment should be for both him and Ruto. But the constitution says you can impeach the president aside and you can impeach the deputy president aside. After seeing that, he has noticed things are going bad, that he has now turned to the president. He has now turned to the president saying, we have worked for 2 years. Allow me to work with you for 3 years. Then in 2027, you can nominate any person you want for that seat, and I'll have no objection to it. And that is how he has walked into a trap. That is what they wanted. And that is why I've been insisting. And that is why I've been insisting. And even when all evidence are showing that there's going to be an impeachment and he is going to be impeached, he has himself walked into a trap whereby it will reach a time when he will be forgiven and be told you are just working for 2 years, and then we do that. And if he works for 3 years, and if he works for the 3 years until that year, there is a lot of things that will be talked. Some people are saying that the governor for Kirinyaga, Waiguru, may be that. Others are saying the governor for Homa Bay, Wanga, would be taken that. For political masterstroke, I would advise the president to go for Wanga, because Waiguru has a lot of money, but Waiguru is not a politician. The other thing is by placing there Wanga, apart from showing that for the first time, imagine the presidency since Jomo was a Kikuyu, Moi was a Kalenjin, Kibaki was a Kikuyu, Uhuru was a Kikuyu, Ruto is a Kalenjin. Now placing there Wanga in such a place that she can take over later, that would be a plus. Plus, if you look at Wanga, she falls under the age group I had said. I said that the next president of Kenya would not be ages how wengine. I talked to Wanga is, I don't know, women don't tell her their ages, but I would place her to be around she's that age because I've just remembered as I talk that she was in the university at the same time with she was at the university at the same time with the guy Isaac Mwaura. So she's that age, she fits in that age. And if she's to be the running mate in 2027, I can assure you that come 2032, she'll be the president. I won't talk more. I've been accused that inachukia Wajaluo and Wanga is a Mjaluo. Sasa, Wanga, women have two homes. She was born, I think, in Kisumu, and she's married in Homa Bay. So she's a pure Luo, and I'm saying that she could be the first person, the first female to be the president of Kenya, just like Hamala Mkhana Mwisoka is going to be the president of USA. If this thing happened the way I'm saying, if things happen the way I'm saying, that huyu atamalizwa, and then for the next 3 years, he'll just be a low-lying person, and then it reaches 2027, Gladys becomes the running mate, and then 2032, Gladys takes over then as the 7th president. I'm seeing it that way. I'm seeing that way. It can happen that way. She's acceptable, and she's of the right age, and she's everything and whatever. I'm saying that, and I know a lot of people are saying I'm anti-Luo. I don't know now how they will comment on that. But people who say that I'm anti-Luo, I am not anti-Luo. You see, you can praise Raila 999 times, but when you are seen as if in one out of 1,000 points, you are seeming to be criticizing Raila, then suddenly you are told you are anti-Luo. My only concern is that should these things go the way they are, because they thought that Nani had muscle. They thought that Gachagua had muscle, so they, instead of coming with a pistol, they came with. I'm talking as an askari, so don't mistake me. Instead of coming with a pistol, they came with an artillery. Then when they came with artillery, they discovered that artillery 90 millimeters instead of a pistol which is 7 millimeters. So they have discovered that and that one will affect not just Rigathi Gachagua alone, but will affect the office of the deputy president, because such things will now make future deputy president be. There is a story, waoga. Then there is a story that Rigathi Gachagua was demanded 8 billion shillings. Yes, Rigathi Gachagua has gained a lot. Rigathi Gachagua has gained a lot in the since he became the president. Remember, his sons acquired, when he became the deputy president, he gave his business to his sons, and his sons acquired the 4 billion treetop. And if you tell me that he demanded 8 billion, I can say there is a lot of truth in it. The only non-truth there is that they have placed there a lot of money so that apinge. Unajua napinga, nasema hapana, iko 8 billion, iliitisha bilioni moja. Sasa kumbe uliitisha billion. That is how things happen. Thank you for persevering the 34 minutes. I think it was worth the topic. Thank you.